Welcome into another episode of 15-Minute Marketing with GT. I'm your host, Greg Todd, and I'm really excited for my special guest today. I've had some amazing guests on the podcast, as all you listeners out there know, over the past few months. But today I have a very special guest. I have my daughter here, and I'm going to let her introduce herself. So say hello to the listeners.
Hi, my name is Bella Todd. I go to school in Birmingham, Alabama, and I'm in third grade.
In the third grade. So this may seem a little odd that I'm having my third grader on to the 15-minute marketing podcast, but actually she's an avid TikToker. She's got her own private TikTok account. She's got her own private Instagram account. And so today we're just going to talk a little bit about marketing and social media from her eyes and her perspective, because she keeps me up to date with a lot of the current trends when it comes to video and songs, especially. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then I'll even ask her all of our normal fun questions at the end of the podcast that I ask every guest. She doesn't know those are coming, but I know she'll know the answers to them. So we'll have a little fun. So first off, tell everybody maybe who is your favorite person to follow on TikTok?
Probably, my best friend London.
Your best friend London? Okay, let me rephrase the question. Who is your favorite person to follow on TikTok that's famous? That people listening on the podcast would know?
Probably Charlie D'Amelio.
Yeah, she is the number one followed TikToker in the world. You love her. You liked her originally because of her dances, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But now you kind of like to follow her for everything. And then tell everyone else who in the music world you kind of love right now. We just bought her album that we're going to play after this podcast is over on Daddy's record player.
Olivia Rodrigo.
Yeah, she loves Olivia, and she's avid on social media as well. And so I have become a big fan of her music, and all of her influences as well from music that I try to expose Isabella to. So we do a lot of riding in the car together. I'm a very active dad with her as far as taking her to and from school and all of her extracurricular activities. And so I expose her to a lot of classic rock, classic country, and a lot of the things that I listen to. And then she keeps me up to date with kind of the Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo soundtracks to all of the Frozen and Disney stuff and all of the things she likes to listen to. So what would you say is your favorite trend on TikTok right now?
Just basically all the transitions.
Oh, yeah, she's gotten really good at the transition. So why don't you tell everybody, like, what is the easiest way to set that up? Like, if somebody hasn't done that yet that's listening to the podcast, how would they go about setting up a transition on TikTok? Just kind of tell them the basics of how that works.
So basically all you would do is you would click the timer and put it to where you want the video to stop, and then you would hit start, and it would play until the video ends, and you would like cut the camera or something, like you would put your hand over it or like cover it with something like that, and then you would come back, different place, different times,
and you start the timer again, right? And then you splice the two together within the app, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you do most of your editing right inside of TikTok, correct?
I do.
Yeah, some people will do it in an app called InShot or maybe iMovie, different things. But TikTok is really good, and even Instagram has gotten better with their ability to do editing right within the app. So if you're just getting started, Isabella and I would both recommend that you just do it within the app until you get to the point where it won't do something that you really wanted to do as you start to figure things out. What is your favorite sound to use right now on TikTok?
Probably A Encanto song.
Encanto, yes. We have we don't talk about Bruno at all in our car and in our house all the time here lately. So if there's any parents listening, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And for all the people listening to this podcast who aren't parents, you probably have no clue what we're talking about, or you've heard that song on Instagram or TikTok and didn't know where it came from. But it's a Disney movie. It's been
the newest one.
It's the newest one and has been very popular over the last 6 months or so with with the kids out there. And the song has really taken a life of its own on social media. So we've talked a little bit about TikTok and Instagram and those things that you like. So now we're going to jump into the questions that I ask everybody. Okay. So here is the very first one. So I used to call it my Netflix question, but now I call it my streaming question because it doesn't have to be Netflix. It could be Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, Hulu. But what is your favorite show that you like to watch on a streaming platform that you can just watch over and over and over again?
Probably like Babysitter's Club.
Oh yeah.
Or Victorious.
Both of those are on Disney Plus, correct?
No. Both of those are on Netflix.
They're both on Netflix.
Yes.
Okay. See, Daddy didn't know. So we have given her access with the child restrictions on both Netflix and Disney Plus, and then she can come to us and ask for things, and Cece and I can review if there's something that's outside of her restricted access that we want to give her access to through our account. So for all you parents out there, there's lots of ways that you can protect your kids but still give them the freedom to choose to watch the things that you're okay with allowing them to watch. Then the last question on the podcast that we always do is if you were stranded on a deserted island and somehow the record player survived, but only one album survived the crash. So you're going to have to listen to the same person over and over and over again on this island. What record would you be okay with having to listen to over and over and over again?
Olivia Rodrigo.
The one that we're going to listen to as soon as this podcast is over. Yeah, I knew there was only going to be two choices for you to that, and it was either going to be Olivia or Tay Tay. I wasn't sure which one you would say, but I knew that it would be one of those two. Yeah. So last question, I said that would be the last one, but I'm going to ask you one anyway because I thought of it. So what do you think of your mom and dad both being what's called entrepreneurs, where they work for themselves? What do you think is the coolest part of having your parents that both own their own business?
Because y'all work in the same office, I get to spend time with both of y'all and just come here. Yeah, we like having her here. We've got a shared office space, and we kind of tag team the parental duties, and it's nice to have her around. She has her own desk here in my office to do her homework, and then we keep a small collection of toys and books here to keep her occupied when she's not having a really good time over at the grandparents' house. Yeah, and she's really becoming an entrepreneur in her own right. She's got Bella's Boutique, where she creates things, and we're going to open up an Etsy and eBay store for her very soon. And then what's the name of your other business? Bella's Best Art.
Bella's Best Art. So she's got a collection of art on a website called Artsonia that you can look her up. She's Isabella 0206 on there. And if you have any questions or are interested in that art, I'll drop it in the show notes on the podcast, and you can look it up, or you can send me a DM on Instagram, GT Marketing and Consulting, and I will be happy to share some of her beautiful art. I have 2 pieces hanging in my office with a third at home waiting to find its way onto the office wall. And so obviously I'm a little biased, but love it. Isabella, thank you so much for being a guest on my podcast today. It's been a lot of fun interviewing you.
It's been a lot of fun being on your podcast.
I can't wait to share this with the audience, and hope everyone out there has a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you again next week. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
Hit end.